Hey guys, welcome to another Star Citizen Alpha 4.6 PTU testing. In this video, we're going to take another look at the ground missile changes, as well as testing the Anvil Ballista. The ground missile stats have come through the ship performance viewer, so let's take a look. First of all, let's check what are the ground missiles. So we have missiles from size 0 all the way to size 12, including the torpedoes. And for size 0, we have only the Venom rocket, which is the small rocket head for the Rattler 2 missiles. And on paper, we have these size 1 ground missiles, the Spark, Pioneer, Task Force, and Maskman 1 ground missiles. However, in reality, at least currently, we only have the Maskman 1 ground missiles. And these ground missiles will be different than the ship missiles, even though they have the same name. However, according to my preliminary test in yesterday's video, we figured out that you cannot swap the ground missiles with the ship missiles. I did both through the vehicle loadout manager. I am not able to swap ground missiles to a ship, nor ship missiles to a ground vehicle. I also tested to manually using a tractor beam to swap those missiles, but I cannot. And I tried multiple ships and vehicles. So the conclusion is that we cannot swap vehicle missiles with ship missiles, nor ship missiles with vehicle missiles. However, there is one exception, which is the MDC. A few viewers is asking me, what about the MDC with the Pepper Box missile turret? Now let's check the MDC's vehicle loadout manager. I do have a Pepper Box here. Let's swap it and save and equip. And now you can see these Spark 1 missiles are not marked as Spark 1G missiles. So it's not ground missile, but ship missiles. And the preview is a mini game, really fun to play. Now, let's look at the size 2 missiles. We have Tempest 2 ground missile. Actually, this one is a mistake. The Task Force 2 should be a G ground missile. I have tested in-game earlier. I cannot swap this missile on a ground vehicle. So this must be a typo on the website. However, we really don't have the Strike Force 1 ground missiles in-game, nor do we have the Tempest 2 ground missiles. The only ground missile we have for the size 2 is the Dominator and Ignite, unless CIG is going to release new ground vehicles with different ground missiles. Or maybe this is the plan. And also, if you're asking, I have checked Orison, also Area 18, Dumpers Depot, as well as the Center Mass. I do not find any store that sells the ground missiles. And now, for the size 3 is a little weird. We have a Argus 9 ground torpedo, and it's a size 3 missile. Yep, don't read too much into it. This must be something wrong since this is just the first patch. And maybe these are just the data the developer just put it in, and later on they'll realize, oh crap, this is a mistake, so they will take it out. But we do have the Viper 3 ground missile, however, we do not have that in-game, only on paper. Same thing for the size 4 missiles. We have the size 4 ground missiles, but we do not have those in-game. Now for the size 5, we do have one ground missile that is in-game, which is a Scimitar 5 on the Ballista. Now for the size 7, we have the Helion 7 ground missile. This is the only one on the Ballista. Also for the size 9, are you ready? We have the Argus 9, Seeker 9, Typhoon 9 ground torpedo with higher damage. Can you imagine a ground vehicle can carry a size 9 ground torpedo? I think this is some kind of mistake. Unless we are going to have some ground vehicles that can fire size 9 ground torpedoes. Really looking forward, but I don't think so. So that's the size 9. And for the size 10 and size 12, these are Aegis and Polaris torpedoes. We don't have any ground torpedoes for these. So now let's take a look at the size 1 and size 2 ground missile stats. Only 2 stats that have been changed. One is the elf damage and the other is the lock range. The total damage for the ground Maskman 1 is 1,596, and the total damage for the ship mask main 1 is 1,140. The damage for the ground mask main 1 is exactly 40% more. I also calculated every other missile, even though they're only on paper. But according to the damage number, every single ground missile is 40% more damage than their counterpart ship missile. The changelog showed that the total missile damage for the Anvil Ballista is increased from 320,000 to 448,000, increased by 40%. Same as the Cyclone AA and the Cyclone MT and the Tombro Nova, from 57,000 to almost 80,000 damage. And the Tombro Storm AA, total missile damage increased from 111,000 to 155,000. Everything increased by 40%. That's a good news for the ground vehicles. And the second stat change is regarding the minimum lock range, as I have tested in yesterday's video. So every single ground vehicle, their minimum lock range is 50 meters. And that's it. Every other stat regarding the missile is exactly the same. The speed, explosion radius, and the health, everything else is the same. Alright, let's test it. We're gonna test the Scimitar first. The Scimitar is an EM missile. Luke is flying a Gladius. Fire. And Luke is popping flares. Flared off that missile. So it's not that difficult to flare off. Fire another one. And flare. Flared off again. I use 10 flares each time to flare off that missile. And now fire one more. And flare off. This time use 6 flares to flare off that missile. So it's not that difficult to flare off. However, Luke has run out of flares. Only one left. Let's see. I'm gonna fire one more. Fire. And one flare. Oh. Run. Okay, the missile is not chasing Luke anymore. And right now Luke has no flares at all. Fire. And the only thing is to run. Ooh, the missile is not chasing Luke anymore. The tracking is really bad. So basically you really don't need flares. Luke hasn't used any flares. Just fly around. And that missile is not chasing anymore. 2 left. I'm gonna fire 2. Fire. And fly around. Oh! Never mind. This time I got it. The Ballista is out of missiles. One thing that I wish they could do is that we can replenish these missiles or torpedoes by using a tractor beam. But unfortunately, until this very patch, we cannot do that. So you can see I can detach the guns on the Ballista, but I cannot detach the missiles or attach missiles on the Ballista. So all the missile ports are still locked. Even if when someone else is on the missile turret, the ship port has already been unlocked, but you can see I cannot tractor the missiles. However, I can repair this missile turret. This missile turret was damaged when transporting. You can see the part integrity I am repairing, and the health is increasing. I can also repair the individual missiles like that. You see the highlight. But I just cannot use the tractor beam to tractor it. However, with 50 meters minimum lock range, the ground vehicle can shoot missiles at other ground vehicle as long as you can target lock. So I'm gonna fire one missile at that Ballista. Fire. And now you can just simply destroy it like that. Let's test it. I'm gonna get shot at by Luke's ballista. I'm gonna be using flares. Let's use 6 flares each time. Okay. Fire at me. Oh, use flare. Oh, flare! 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 Oh, almost didn't flare it off. I'm really worried about the server lag. If my flare is not out quickly, the server lag can kill me. Okay, another missile. Fire. Missile fired at me. Flare. That's 6 flare. Still tracking. More flares. Ooh, still tracking. I can see that missile. More flares. Oh, no, more flares. Oh, that's a lot of flares. Another missile. This is stressful. Okay, I'm gonna use 10 flares this time. Flare. Oh, flared off. I fired a missile at 15 kilometers. It's going to travel a little bit. Okay, half a circle. Use flare. 4 flares. Nope, doesn't work. Oh, 8 flares. Flare it off. So you still can flare off the EM missiles. Just takes a lot of flares. Okay, now I'm gonna try a Helium 7 torpedo, size 7. This one is going to be quite slow. Fire. And that's an IR missile. IR missile should be easy to flare off. Four flares. No use. 4 more. Okay, 8 flares. Flared off. Another one. Oh, I can even see that missile. Flare. Okay, flared off. Oh, got a EM missile. A scimitar.
Flare out.
Ooh, last flare. That's it, but I did flare off that missile as well. And now I am out of flares. And I got 1 missile flying toward me. So I'm going to trying to maneuver out of it. Oh, I see that missile. Oh, I escaped. So in general, it's not that difficult to flare off or escape a locked ballista missile. The problem is that you just cannot approach a certain location. If a location is protected by the AAs, then you can only fly above it or around it. Just try to escape those missiles. But if you want to go in and attack a certain location, once you get close, the closer you get, the more deadly it is, because you do not have enough time to react. For example, I don't even know where the ballista is at. And it might be fire missile at me already. Oh. That is a missile. And, ooh, escaped as well. So it's not super effective. Unless you really wait it. And when the enemy ship is getting really close. And a surprise attack. And that missile just missed me. Okay, we're gonna test again, but this time we're gonna test it on a bigger ship. So Luke is flying a Drake Corsair. And let's see how effective are these missiles. Gonna use 6 flares each time. Fire. And flared off that missile. Fire second one. Oh, this time did not flare off yet. Now flared off. Use like 12 flares. Flared it off. It's a little bit desync here. Okay, fire again. Flare. And flared off as well. 2 kilometers. Fire again. Oh, Corsair out of flares. Run. Oh. Did I? No. Escaped even without flare. Wow, it's not very effective. Fire again. Maybe it's just too much desync in the server. You can see the missiles like flying everywhere. And lost lock. So it's possible we have to do this test again because the server is really bad. Let's try the Helium 7. Fire another one. Oh! One Helium missile hit Luke and the ship just got destroyed. So once the missile hits, it's actually quite powerful. Also, I am not able to ping on the missile turret of the ballista. So I can only use my passive scan. I think this is true for all the ship turrets. You can't ping. Okay, one more test. Luke Skywalker is flying a Paladin. And pretend that he doesn't know that I am here. I'm gonna fire a Helium 7 torpedo when he gets really close. I'm going to fire right until he's above me. Fire! Oh! Wow! That's insane. The destruction, the damage for this missile is incredible. One Helium 7 destroyed an Anvil Paladin at close range. Oh, I've got a ship flying toward me. Oh! Fire! Oh, I just killed him! Oh no! With one scimitar, my goodness! I got a crime stat 3. So when a player or enemy ship is not paying attention, and then it's going to be really deadly. Okay, one more test. Luke is flying a Perseus, and Luke is going to try to detect my ballista. Let's see what's the detection range. Right now it's 1.2 kilometers. No detection. Oh, let's see. I got a detection now, and that's 900. That's about 1 kilometer. Yep, between 1 kilometer to, oh, you can see the PDC is already shooting at the ballista. Wow, that's good to know. So the PDC can help clearing out the ballista. However, I already got my missile targeted at the Perseus, so I'm gonna fire one Helium 7. Fire! Let's see. Oh, I can't see the status here, but using this, you can see the nose of the Perseus is red. Gonna fire a scimitar. Fire. Oh! Oh. Fire again. Trying to run. Hit. Fire another one. And 2 more. I'm going to fire 2 at the same time. Fire. Hit. Oh, the Perseus did not self-dest. No power plant kill. Okay, boarding the Perseus. Let's check the damage on the ship. Oh, I think we've got a fire on the ship. Oh, yes, we got a fire on the ship. Wow. The entire engineering is on fire. The armor is down. Hull is 62%. And multiple sections has fire. So even though the ballista did not kill the Perseus, but it caused a lot of damage on the ship. So this is it for this ballista testing. In summary, I am a little bit disappointed about this vehicle. even though the total damage of each of the missiles has been increased by 40%. However, against light fighters, it's not very effective unless when the fighter is really close. Or maybe this is what this ballista is designed for. And you also have to acquire the skills and patience to wait for your targets to get close and then one strike to kill. But it's more effective against the bigger ships. And especially the Helion 7, it's pretty powerful. One shot to one kill of the Corsair as well as an Anvil Paladin. And they can also do a whole lot of damage to a Perseus. So definitely the Ballista is going to be effective for the overall ground gameplay, whether for PvE missions or PvP missions and events. If you need to protect the assets of one ground area, then the Ballista is going to be one of the choices that you need to choose. It's also quite fun, but also be careful of hostile player ballistas camping, hiding in those locations. And thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.